Most likely you have an organizational website, which takes work and effort to ensure it's kept up to date, right? The first thing you need to know is what are the goals for the site? I'm talking with two website managers from the University of Nebraska about the challenges they face.
The other challenge is the fact that our website is really the culmination of work of a team of contributors. And that team of contributors are not professional online media communicators. And they perceive the value of having content online so people can research it. And the truth is, it's not really appropriate to the website or a value, and certainly not sought out by users, but to maintain the team spirit of the contributors, we put it on there.
Your boss comes to you and says, "We need to put this up on the website. It needs to be prominent." Do you ever take a step back and ask, why? Which goal does this meet? Every site needs goals. Goals can be promotion, outreach, recruitment, sales, or training, but they must be specific.
Having a clear directive for your site or a goal for your site is going to help you make sure that your viewers are getting the content that they're looking for. If you don't do that, people are going to come to your site and they're going to look around for a little bit and they're going to leave, because if they can't find what their content that they're looking for, they're not going to be interested in your site. And if you bury that content too deep or it's too confusing to find, you've lost them.
Get to know your target audience like family. Speak to them as if they are friends.
When we design our sites here, we try to think of what our end users are going to be, whether they're going to be prospective students, whether they're going to be farmers out in the field, whether they're going to be housewives or whatever. We're looking for who is our intended audience for the content. If your goal is to make sure that your intended viewers are going to come to your site and stay on there and read the content that you're going to be putting up there, you need to make sure that you have focused on that particular audience by knowing who that audience is going to be and writing the content for that audience and designing your website for that audience.
You need to tell a compelling story with your content. Your content is your story. Keep an audience interested and hopefully coming back for more.
The most important content, and truly the content that has the most value to users, are a set of videos that have been shot with small businesses and organizations around the state. These are 3-minute videos that allow real success stories of users of internet services to share their stories. The most important content, and truly the content that has the most value to users, are a set of videos that have been shot with small businesses and organizations around the state. These are 3-minute videos that allow real success stories of users of internet services to share their stories. They tell real stories about challenges that you face in the sandhills, in areas of low service, how to create an online business in a community in Nebraska where no one has ever tried this before. These have real value, they're real people.
Your content must be relevant to the audience that's going to be viewing your website. It just like as if you went and you were going to give a presentation to someone, you have to make sure that that content and that what you're presenting is relevant to who's going to be listening to it, who's going to be reading it. If it's not, they're not going to stay on your site and read the content. They're going to go somewhere else where they're going to find the relevant content that they're looking for. So when we're doing kind of the web-centric design, we want to think, what are our viewers going to look for, and what do they want on our site? And we need to make that the first most prominent thing that they're going to find when they come to the site. When designing a website, we try to make sites to be user-centric, meaning that what is it that our users want? Not what do we want, but what do we expect our users to find on our websites. When you go out and search for your own content or what you're looking for on a website, you're looking for things that are pertinent to you and what you want, not what the institution or the site is trying to convince you to look at.
Remember to write for readers on the web, not a white paper. And please, 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 read Steve Krug's book, Don't Make Me Think, a classic short text in web design and usability. This is where the rubber meets the road. Have a plan.
To manage the content more effectively and to develop a more user-friendly website would take a real spirit of recognition and cooperation among the team. And that would be acknowledging the value of the information really lies in how easy it is for the user to access and use, not just simply having it available. So we need to perhaps weed through some of the content and reorganize it in a way that is more topic-oriented and news-oriented, and eliminate content that might be 10, 12 years old, because that's really not the place for it. We've developed a website of a vast size, but perhaps the value does not correlate with size. And as working with people who are not communicators, volume matters to them more than quality. So that's a challenge. And you can't take anything off because they perceive it as value for potential future research. And so we have to keep everything, and we just keep adding on. And I think that's a real challenge for us, because now we've developed a huge weighty website that is difficult to wade through.
Keep an editorial calendar, a content spreadsheet of pages for subject matter experts, next updates, dates for broken link checking and archiving of content. Give stakeholders forms to use for requesting changes and additions, and send out regular calls for content to contributors. How do you know if what you are doing is effective or not? Even if you have analyzed goals and the audience and created compelling content, and you have a process in place, you need to continually measure what's actually happening on your site. Are you meeting your targets? It's impossible to gain valuable insight if you don't have clear business goals to measure. Make sure stakeholders have defined the primary goals for the site, and if they can't, then the team needs to go back to the drawing board. Just measuring traffic to your site can't tell you enough. You need to know what visitors did on your site. That's measuring conversions and event tracking, and what they want to find. That's measuring keyword search. And if they stuck around, that's measuring time on site. And if they found it useful and are coming back, that's measuring new versus returning visitors. These simple key performance indicators can give you useful metrics to help you measure effectiveness and continue to improve your site. Let's recap. You can tame your wild and unruly website. Here are the steps. 1. Know your goals. 2. Know your audience. 3. Provide compelling content that tells your story. 4. Have a management process in place. And 5. Measure useful data. And lastly, repeat as necessary. Just because you build it doesn't mean they will come. It takes commitment to analyze, create compelling content, promote, refresh, engage with visitors, measure, and repeat. Taming a wild thing was never easy, but it's almost always worthwhile.